the shadowy alleys of noir to the twisting corridors of mystery, Detectives and Dice brings you thrilling tales of tabletop intrigue. Grab your fedora, roll the dice, and sharpen your wits, because in this game, the clues are hidden and danger lurks around every corner. Tune in now for a new case, and maybe a few surprises along the way.
Today, we're embarking on a really unique journey, I think, into tabletop role-playing games. We're diving into Brindlewood Bay. Now, this is a game that asks a pretty wild question. What if, cozy small-town sleuthing met, well, a creeping cosmic conspiracy? It fits perfectly into our ongoing Detectives and Dice theme. It really showcases how a game can blend classic mystery stuff with these dice-driven narrative choices. Very engaging. It's just a fantastic example of TTRPGs pushing boundaries, creating something genuinely fresh. What really grabbed me was how cleverly it, flips your expectations.
It really does, yeah. What's so compelling about Brindlewood Bay is how it feels familiar but also totally new, even if you played, tons of RPGs. And it's a testament to the design, really, that it resonates so much.
Yeah.
It shows you can still find surprising depth in genres you thought you knew.
Okay, so let's set the scene for you. What is Brindlewood Bay? Well, at its heart, you play as the Murder Mavens. And these are a group of elderly women, members of a book club, who somehow find themselves solving actual murder mysteries, all happening in their quaint New England coastal town, Brindlewood Bay, Massachusetts. Picture this charming, old whaling community, now mostly B&Bs and antique shop. Peaceful, right. But when you first hear the concept, it immediately brings images to mind, doesn't it? Like murder, she wrote maybe, but with a big twist.
Definitely. Or like some people say, Golden Girls meets Cthulhu. That sums it up pretty well.
Exactly. And the game deliberately plays with tone. It often seems light, cozy on the surface, but then it layers in these darker, unsettling vibes. The whole design idea is that the cozy bubble gets, punctured. Suddenly.
Right. Punctured by danger or supernatural weirdness or sometimes just outright horror.
It's this collision of worlds, and that really defines the whole experience.
And yeah, that collision. Totally intentional. That's the point. The creators even said that the strange feeling you get, watching these elderly women go back to baking scones right after facing masked cultists on a beach, that's the game working as intended.
Wow. So that whiplash feeling isn't a bug, it's a feature.
Exactly. It's a core feature. It creates this really unique narrative space for you as a player. It kind of shows how contrasting genres can actually make each other stronger, but horror feels creepier against the cozy background, and the cozy feels like this desperate, fragile thing you cling to.
That makes sense.
But it's important for players to get that up front, because the game can touch on serious themes. We're talking murder, ritual sacrifice, even things like pregnancy horror, according to some sources. So the GM, they call them the keeper in this game, really needs to set clear boundaries and make sure everyone's comfortable. Collaboration is key.
That's a really interesting balance to manage. Okay, so how does this unique idea actually work in gameplay? Let's get into the mechanics of Brindlewood Bay. It uses a streamlined version of the Powered by the Apocalypse engine, PBTA, people usually call it.
Right, PBTA.
And for those maybe less familiar, PBTA games are known for being narrative first. So instead of complex rules for everything, certain actions trigger moves. These moves are like predefined story points that keep things flowing. Makes it surprisingly accessible, really focuses on the story.
Very much so.
In Brindlewood Bay, you're typically rolling 2 6-sided dice, adding a stat like vitality, composure, reason, presence, or sensitivity, and that determines your success. Simple enough. It also has an advantage and disadvantage system. Adds a bit more choice.
Yeah, the standard roll 3 dice, keep the highest 2 for advantage, lowest 2 for disadvantage.
Right, and that often connects directly to player choices or what's happening in the story, making those choices feel like they really matter. It ties mechanics and fiction together nicely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that focus on player agency, on narrative control, that's really central to the game. Lots of the unique mechanics are built to empower you to shape the story. Like the cozy little place feature. Each Maven character has one.
A cozy little place, tell me more.
Yeah, it's like a corner of their home, a study, maybe a garden shed, whatever. And it's filled with specific, often quirky items. But these aren't just decoration. You can use an item from your cozy little place to gain advantage on a roll.
Oh, cool. Like what?
Well, imagine pulling out, an old Enigma machine you inherited to decode something. Or maybe your cat, Mr. Fluffernutter, helps sniff out a clue.
Huh. Mr. Fluffernutter, ace detective. I love
It
it.
really encourages that kind of creative, character-based problem solving. Ties the fiction right into the mechanics. And then there's the crowns. This is another really standout feature.
There's crowns. Okay.
Yeah. They're like a safety net, but a costly one, narratively speaking. After you roll, even after the keeper says what happens, you can choose to put on a crown. Doing that bumps your result up by 1 success level. It's like, holding your finger on the page in a choose-your-own-adventure book to backtrack.
Ah, okay. A do-over, sorta?
Sort of, but with real consequences that deepen your character. There are 2. The Crown of the Queen explores your maven's identity as a woman through flashbacks, often poignant ones. And the Crown of the Void, well, that marks your slow descent into madness because of the whole occult conspiracy that's lurking underneath everything.
Wow, so using them helps you succeed, but it also pushes your character's story forward in these really significant, sometimes unsettling ways.
Exactly. It makes the choice really interesting. It's not just a mechanical reroll, it's an agonizing character moment.
That safety net with narrative cost idea, that's really fascinating for a mystery game. It raises the stakes differently. It's not just pass-fail. It's about who your character becomes. Every big decision is about the Maven's journey, not just the clue right in front of them. Okay, and here's the part that really feels like it changes the game for mystery TTRPGs. Unlike most mystery games where the GM knows the answer, right?
Right, where the players are just trying to find the pre-written solution.
Brindlewood Bay's core theorize move puts the solution directly in your hands, the player's hands.
Yeah.
So after gathering clues, the Mavens have this, the game calls it an open, freewheeling discussion.
Yeah.
They piece things together, talk it out, and collectively reach a consensus on who did it and why.
And then they roll.
Right. You roll dice based on how many clues you used in your theory, minus the mystery's complexity rating. And that roll actually determines if your theory is correct.
Or if there's a complication. An unexpected twist.
It's kind of mind-blowing, actually.
Yeah. It is pretty revolutionary for the genre. And you might ask, why do it this way? Why this radical approach? It's because the clues themselves are designed differently. They're described as snippets of information deliberately left loose. They're not rigidly tied to one place, or one suspect, or one pre-planned answer.
Ah, okay, so they're flexible.
Very flexible. It lets you, the players, weave them together into a narrative that makes sense to you. The mystery genuinely becomes yours. The GM's role changes completely. They're not the keeper of secrets anymore. They're discovering what happens right alongside the players. They play to find out.
That shared authorship sounds amazing. It really challenges the whole idea of a single right answer in a tabletop mystery.
Exactly. And as you solve these local murders, you start uncovering the bigger picture. The dark conspiracy.
Right. The Midwives of the Fragrant Void. That sounds ominous.
It is. It unfolds in layers over sessions. Ancient cults, cosmic entities, really terrifying things like the Eye of Charon, this giant red eye with black tentacles, or the Million Hander. You get the idea?
Yikes. Yeah.
And it all builds towards this big, overarching void mystery that connects everything.
So, given these really innovative mechanics and this very distinctive tone, how's the game been received? What's the TTRPG community saying? What does this mean if you're a player looking for something different?
Well, Brindlewood Bay has definitely gotten a lot of praise, especially for that innovative mystery system. A lot of people find it really accessible, rules light, great for narrative play, even if you're new to RPGs.
And that core hook, right? The elderly lady solving crimes meets cosmic horror.
Oh, yeah. People love that. It's seen as non-threatening somehow, but instantly memorable. Really makes it stand out. And players consistently say it encourages creativity in solving the mystery. They feel competent, empowered, because their theories actually make the truth. They're not just guessing what the GM planned. For a lot of folks, it's been a solid rebound, as one source put it, if they've been frustrated by how traditional mystery games sometimes just stall out or feel railroaded.
That collaborative writer's room vibe you mentioned sounds really freeing for a GM, too. Lets them just react and build on player ideas.
It definitely can be. Less stress than having to manage a complex pre-written plot with dozens of clues.
But I wonder, does that ever feel too loose? Like, do some players miss that classic Sherlock Holmes moment where the GM reveals the real truth? Is it maybe too collaborative for some tastes?
That's a fair point, and it does come down to player preference.
Yeah.
For GMs, playing to find out is often less stressful. But for some players, especially those used to traditional mysteries where the truth is like a hidden object you uncover, the idea that your theory becomes the truth can feel weird at first. Maybe untethered, like you said.
Right.
But for players who love shared storytelling and improv, that writer's room approach is a huge draw. The game basically trusts everyone at the table to weave a satisfying story together, even if the ending wasn't known from page one. Which does lead to another discussion point.
Replayability.
Yeah. If the players define the solution, can you replay a mystery? Well, maybe not the exact same mystery easily. Some sources suggest it's maybe not built for a super long, ongoing campaign with endless cases. It seems to work really well as a shorter escalating series.
Building towards that void mystery finale.
Exactly. Or even as a really strong one-shot. The power often lies in that whole arc, from the cozy start to the big cosmic reveal. It's more about that journey.
And what about the tone, that cozy versus cosmic horror thing we talked about? Does that always land well? Do players ever feel like, I don't know, one side overshadows the other?
Well, again, the designers would say the tension is the point. It's meant to feel strange. That friction between comfort and dread is intentional.
Okay.
It's not about one winning, but how they coexist, making both feeling stronger. It kind of highlights this weird resilience, maybe. Especially seeing these older women face down cosmic horror. They've seen things, you know.
True, they probably have.
There's also been some talk about the PBTA structure itself. While lots find it easy, some players from more traditional RPG backgrounds find the moves a bit jarring, like the meddling move for finding clues.
How so?
Well, the idea that a dice roll gives you a clue, rather than, say, succeeding on a perception check the GM set or just figuring it out through role-playing alone, for some that can feel a bit anti-immersive.
I see. Less simulationist.
Exactly. But the game really pushes GMs to adapt clues to fit the scene to make it make sense in the fiction. The conversation is still key. It's just a different flavor of mystery game, focused on story generation.
It definitely sounds like it sparks some amazing creativity and memorable moments, though. I've heard some brilliant stories from actual play, like someone playing a character named Mildred Hubble, from The Worst Witch, who apparently had an Enigma machine stashed in her cozy little place.
Barf.
Or a GM, after a failed roll, asking the player, okay, what are you afraid will happen now? And the player escalating it to being thrown overboard, tied to a concrete block.
Wow. Yeah, it thrives on those kinds of unexpected turns.
And it's not all grim. Apparently, some groups joked early on that maybe the mavens themselves were the killers, using their mystery book club knowledge to frame people.
Huh. That's great. Shows the kind of outside-the-box thinking it encourages, even if that's not the actual plot.
Totally. And I read one review mentioning a commercial break mechanic, just adding to that quirky TV show feel.
Oh yeah, the little touches like that add so much flavor.
And apparently there's even a DuckTales hack of the game out there somewhere in fan circles.
Seriously, DuckTales, okay, now we've heard everything. But that just proves the point, right? It's a system that inspires people to get creative and make it their own.
Absolutely. These stories really show how the game empowers everyone to just improvise and weave these really personal, memorable tales together.
The whole framework encourages those specific, surprising moments. It's genuinely collaborative storytelling, not just puzzle solving.
So, bringing it all together, what's the big picture here? For you as a player, or maybe even a game designer thinking about TTRPGs, Brindlewood Bay has clearly made a mark.
Oh, definitely. Its appeal isn't just the quirky premise, though that helps. It's how that innovative mystery system changes the whole dynamic at the table. The GM shifts from being the puzzle master to being a co-discoverer, that play-to-find-out idea. It's about shared authorship creating richer, more surprising stories. It really questions what a solution even means in a TTRPG mystery.
And it's had an impact beyond itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As an evolution of PBTA design, it's carved from Brindlewood's system. That core mystery mechanic has inspired other successful games, like The Between, doing X-Files-style gothic horror, or Paranormal Inc., about ghost hunting teams. It occupies this space that really rewards player creativity and collaboration. It invites you into a story where the truth isn't something hidden by the GM, but something discovered with the GM, shaped by everyone. It just shows how flexible TTRPGs can be.
Yeah. This deep dive into Brindlewood Bay really underscores how TTRPGs can bend genres, redefine what players can do. It shows that often the most powerful tool isn't a character sheet stat, but just your collective imagination. It challenges you to look past traditional mechanics, maybe embrace a story where the journey, shaped by everyone, is way more compelling than just getting to a pre-written end. It's a great reminder that sometimes, the coziest settings can hide the most unsettling truths, or maybe hold the most resilient heroes. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Brindlewood Bay. We hope you enjoyed this unique mix of amateur sleuthing and creeping conspiracy, and maybe you had a few aha moments about collaborative storytelling in games. Be sure to join us next time on The Deep Dive, where our Detectives and Dice theme continues, leading us into another fascinating corner of tabletop gaming.